this is our first episode of Hank's Corner, and I am here with singer, songwriter, 16-year-old sensation from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Mikayla Lane.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. Now, I was at your show the other night. It was a great show, by the way, in Inglewood, Florida. You said it was your first time performing in Florida.
It was. That was my very first show. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. Is this your first time in Florida?
This is not my first time in Florida. I've been coming to the beach down here for a long time, since I was real little. My parents have been coming to a specific beach in Florida since the 80s, so That's where I've been coming with them. And I love Florida. I love going to the beach. We hadn't been in a while, so it was kind of good to come back, and get to see the beach again, because it'd been a while, but I think Florida's really fun.
So you don't get a beach in Oklahoma.
Not even close. The closest thing we got is, I live on the lake, and it's just rock everywhere, so we have just rock and lake in Oklahoma.
Now, at that lake, do you get to do any type of water sports there? Or?
We do. So I do kneeboarding and tubing. My dad was a big slalom skier whenever he was in Georgia, so he really loves living on the lake because that's where he grew up. So I love living on the lake. I love the water sports and everything, and there's always something to do, so it's really fun.
I've never been personally good at doing any water sports. I can't ski on them.
I can't ski. I can only do kneeboarding, and tubing doesn't even really count. But.
Well, I was going to say I can too.
Yeah.
I can float down. I can deal with that. So how are you liking Florida this time so far?
I love it. It's really cool. Everyone here is really nice, and there's a lot more people than I remember. It's really growing, it seems like.
Well, that definitely is true. I've been here in the Florida area for 2 years. And just in the 2 years that I've been here, it's just everybody's just coming in.
Seems like it. Yeah.
They love our state here. So what have you done since you've been here besides performing?
So a lot of my family actually came in today from Georgia on my mom's side, and it's really great to see them. One of her best friends came down with her daughter. A lot of my cousins are here. My aunt and uncle are here. So we've just been kind of looking around Orlando a little bit. We got some food and been hanging out with them. So it's just kind of good to see family we hadn't got to see in a while because we live so far apart. So it was good to kind of meet in the middle and see them here.
Oh, that's always great when you get family. When I used to live in Texas, it was very rare for everybody to come out there and see me. Now that I'm in Florida, everybody loves to come and visit.
It's like no one wants to come to Oklahoma or Texas, but once you mention Florida, it's like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to do here. Are you doing any of the theme parks or anything like that?
I haven't yet. I've been looking at it, but my dad's like, we're here for business. So I was like, okay.
Well,
makes sense, though.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Right? Well, we would love to always have you back here. So I want to talk a little bit about your music career as well. Now, you're young, but when did you actually start getting into the music?
So I started performing whenever I was 5, and that's when I really started enjoying it and realizing that this was something that I wanted to continue doing. Obviously, at 5, I wasn't like, this is what I want to do for my career, but it was something that I was really drawn to and thought was really fun. So that's kind of how I got into it, but...
At 5-year-old, what were you singing at 5 years old?
I was singing Carrie Underwood. I sang a lot of Reba. Mostly Carrie is what I remember. Carrie, Reba, I did some Dolly. I didn't do many male artists. I did a lot of the Judds. But that's what I was doing when I was 5, is I would always sing around the house, and it'd be songs off the radio, not really songs that, a little kid would be singing. So that caught my parents' attention, and I started taking lessons, and it just kind of went from there. But I really got serious with performing whenever I was 11.
Okay, was that the first time that you performed at 11?
It wasn't. That was just the first time that I really started focusing on it and making it a priority, and my parents really got behind it then, and they were always supportive, but they really got behind it whenever I was 11, and ever since then I've just been performing around. I got a band now and been recording my own music and putting it out, and it's been really fun.
Okay, great. Well, you seem to have a good time up there doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, the show was pretty awesome the other
you.
night. So when I know that you also write some of your songs, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me about the process of that you do to write a song. Where does your inspiration come from?
Well, honestly, writing is not something that I'm super strong with or love doing, but it's something that I have to grow and kind of like craft, sort of, because songwriting is definitely a craft, and it's not something you can just start doing. And I mean, some people just start it and they're great at it, like it's one of their natural things. It doesn't really come super naturally for me. But I would say, especially for this new EP, the Miles from Nowhere EP, the single "Wild Like the Wind" came about with, and whenever I write with my producer John, and we wrote this one because I was involved with the rodeo. Like I talked about the show a little bit. I'm kind of the image, I guess you could say, for the rodeo. I don't really know a better word to describe it, but that's kind of my role in the rodeo, and I'll perform at like a qualifier or a final championship or something like that, like they're gonna have in Vegas. But that's what I've been doing with this rodeo a lot recently, and you know, while you're in the rodeo, you either have a husband or a wife that's involved with the rodeo, and you know, you're always traveling with rodeos, going to the next one, and
Sure.
entering and all that sort of thing. So being around that all the time kind of made me wonder what it must be like for those type of relationships and how that actually works. So that's kind of what Wild Like the Wind came about.
Settling down, think about leaving this one horse town, 'cause I'm wild about him, but he's wild, wild like the wind.
I was thinking about it sort of, and I listened to Jenna Paulette a lot at this time, and she has a really cool sound, and she's kind of more in the Western world like I really like, and so I was listening to her, and her music influenced me a little bit, along with, you know, George Strait, Ian
Okay.
Munsick, all these
All great
different
names.
artists. Yeah, they're awesome. And all that kind of just influenced it, and then the storyline came about from the rodeo, and then it just kind of grew from there. And then me and John both did the production, and just kind of went from there. There's not really a specific chart or formula I follow for any of that. It just kind of goes.
Okay.
But I do really like starting off a new song with, me and John just call it like a vibe track.
Okay.
And he'll just put something together that he thinks sounds cool, or that I've kind of described to him and how he sees it in his mind, and he'll send it over, and then we'll kind of write from that. And
Okay,
then
so you kind of do the music a little bit first, and then put some lyrics to it?
Yes,
or?
sir. That's how we did it, especially for this new record. It seemed like that's kind of how we did each song, but...
Okay. Well, and I love that song, but I'm actually partial to Come Home.
Come home.
Sun's on and it's 3 in the morning. Mama runs out with her arms wide open. I never wanna let this go. And neon lights make it not seem longer. What I wouldn't give to be in Oklahoma. It's hard living on the road. If you think I sparkle underneath these lights, you should see me when I come home.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about how that came about.
Well, actually, I did not write that one. John wrote that one, but it was really from the perspective. He did a great job of kind of going into my head and seeing things how I see things, and what my life is, what all it entails. And it's kind of just about being young and being on the road, and like being here whenever I should be, well, it's the weekend now, but whenever I should have been at school, or with friends, or whatever it is, like a 16-year-old would normally be doing, kind of taking that into perspective and putting a song out about it. And I really connect with it because it's very specific to my life, and I think a lot of people that are doing the same thing I am can relate to it as well.
So how do you balance all of that with the touring, the writing, but also doing the school and your social life? How does that work?
So I do online school. I chose that route this year. Normally what I would do is I would go to school during the week, and after school I would go to the studio or come back to my house, and me and John would work on stuff, and we'd have a very limited amount of time, so we couldn't grow as much as I've been growing now with doing online school. But it's really helpful because I can take my school on the road, on the bus, wherever we're going. So that's how I do school. My friends and social life, I just try to keep my weekends open if I can, because my week is usually pretty busy. And I try to leave my weekends open for that, because also having friends and doing things that a teenager should be doing is important to me, because I don't want to lose out on all of that while I'm trying to do this, because I'll look back and be like, man, I never, so
you're having a great experience, but you don't want to trade one
Right.
great one for another.
And, yeah, and at a certain extent you have to, but I try my best to try to balance it as much as I can, and my parents and everyone help out a lot with that. So
Okay. And I've seen that it seems like you've got a great support system with your
I do.
family and everything
Yes, sir.
like that. So I guess that has to help.
oh yeah, it's I would say it's more than half of what it takes to do this. So.
Good. Yeah, it's great to have that support system. So do you have any time for anything else, like any other hobbies, or is this pretty much it? That fills up your whole
This
day
is
from
pretty
start
much-
to finish.
Yeah, this is pretty much what I do. I played volleyball for a very long time competitively, and
Okay.
we would go to like nationals and really big accomplishments, but I had to kind of choose between the two, and I ended up choosing music because in the long run I think that I enjoyed it more, and I felt like it would have more of a payoff for me, and it'd be something I could continue doing. So but I don't do that anymore. I wish I did. Volleyball is fun, but this is much better. So
Okay. And so tonight you're performing where?
I'm performing at the All Red in Orlando.
Okay, and for those that know, that's Blake Shelton's spot.
Yes, sir.
So I know that Blake Shelton has commented about you. Have you actually ever met Blake Shelton?
I haven't met him. There's been a few times where it's come close, but I haven't met him yet. But he did do that shout out on Twitter, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was really awesome. So Mikayla Lane's going to be performing tonight at the Old Red in Orlando. Check her out if you are in town. If not, you can follow her on her social medias, and you can find her at MikaylaLaneMusic.com, and give a shout out again to your new album.
Oh yes, my new EP is called Miles from Nowhere, and you can find it anywhere that you like to stream your music.
Okay, and I'm actually going to pick up one of those CDs tonight, and I'd like to give it away to one of our listeners who may be listening. So if
yeah.
you are listening to it today, please comment in the section on what your favorite Mikayla Lane song is, and I will choose a winner at random to get one of those. And would you autograph that for them?
Oh yes, I would love to.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you coming out today and talking with me. So this is my first episode of Hank's Corner. I'm glad that it was you, and
I am too.
I look forward to your performance tonight. You have a great one.
Thank you so much.